This is day 486 of Zohar, Pshat, and we're on Daf Nun Ches Amud Aleph, towards the bottom. Zakoin Inu Tzadikaya, which is 7 lines on the bottom. Zakoin Inu Tzadikaya, meritorious are these tzadikim, that to Shimon the Gushbanka, the Maki law, that they are engraved with engraving of the seal of the king on high. Maybe Shmei Rishimin. That is in their names, it is engraved. The Terach says Tzadikim Rishumim B'Shumos Chosem Tabas HaMelech Yisbarach Shmo, I guess, B'Sod Oz Bris Kodesh. He adds on that this has to do with the Oz Bris Kodesh. V'Koy Lam Shemos B'Aretz Kamvur. I don't know why he has to add on this idea of the bris, but he does. But the main thing is, I don't even know that necessarily he means literally. They are written in his name. In other words, that there's some part of the Shem Hashem in their names. I think it just means that that they are in his name. They are written down. In other words, he gave them the name. I'm not sure. Anyway, but because then it's redundant. Maybe it should be Rishmai Rishmin. So I'm not sure exactly what it means here. Maybe Rishmai Rishmin. But he makes their names in the land, which is appropriate. And that, of course, the like we just said, the Zeh, Yinachamenu, that Zeh references that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the name, not just that Lemech gave the name. But we're going to switch that and come on to the Pshat in a few moments. In the meantime, though, we have a different idea. Ksiv Vayikra Shmo Noach, it says he called his name Noach. Ksiv Vayikra Shmo Yaakov. So the Zohar says both of them reference not just Avraham and Lemech, but they represent HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Amay lo Ksiv Es. So, but here it says Vayikra Es Shmo Noach, and by Yaakov it says Vayikra Shmo Yaakov. Why do we have the word Es by Yaakov? So the Zohar says Elohasam Darga V'cha Darga Achra. There it's one madrega. There's actually said in parentheses Darga Chada, and here it's a different madrega. Kedena Amar, like it says Ver'eh Es Hashem. Pasuk Yeshaya says I saw Es Hashem. Ve'eh Hashem lo ksiv ela Es Hashem. It says by Yeshaya that he saw Es Hashem, not Hashem. So Avchach, here too is the way to understand it. Vayikra Shmo Yaakov Dargi Dilei Kuchabichu Mamish. Yaakov is on the madrega, so to speak, of Hashem himself. Meaning Hashem, he's not tacked on. S indicates separation, indicates something additional. That's why we always say Nechem Yom is Dorish the Esim to include something additional, but it also applies a distance. Even if you want to say the distance from Aleph to Tov. But in any event, it applies a distance. It's not on the same level. Vayikra Shmo Yaakov means there's a much tighter connection than Vayikra Es Shmo Noach, where there's a more distant connection. So as he's saying, Yaakov's madrega, Yaakov the Muscha, Yaakov is Choko, Kisei Kavod, the image of Yaakov is engraved in the Kisei Kavod. It's mamash madrega being Kaviyachol, adjacent, connected to, directly involved with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kedayle Kuchabichu mamish, Karle Yaakov, it's called Yaakov. Avohacha Es, but here you have the word Es by Noach and by Yeshaya HaNavi, of course, to include the Shechina. In other words, the level of Shechina. It's a very high madrega. But Shechina is something which emanates, so to speak, from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, comes from Hashem. It's not Hashem himself. So therefore, there's a madrega of the Navi. The madrega of Noach was a madrega being Es Hashem, not a level of being connected directly to Hashem, but connected with the Shechina, which of course is extremely high, but not the same thing. So Es comes to say that there's Shechina involved, not the direct connection, not like Moshe Rabbeinu would have the connection, and not even Yaakov means connection. Obviously, Moshe's connection is higher than Yaakov, but Yaakov's connection itself is quite high, and higher than that of Noach and Yeshaya. Okay, so the now we switch gears, go back, it seems to Lemech. How did Lemech know that when he gave Noach the name, that Noach was going to be this great person? The Baruch Hu cursed the world. The Chesiv says, Adama Burecha, the land is cursed on your account. Adam said in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Master of the universe, how long will the land last in this curse? Amalei said, until somebody who's born with a bris milah like yourself. In other words, Adam was created with a bris milah. Zohar see it says in Avos Reb Nosson also it says on Mishnah Yatzamo af Noach, and in Tanchum Noach it says that he was one of the 7 people who was born mohel. So I guess that showed that there was a tikkun already operative, right? V'avim mechakon ad shaitis Noach. So they waited till the Noach was born. Came the Yisraeli once he was born Chamalei, so he saw him. So I assume it means his father. Saw him. Gazir, that he had a bris milah already. Rashim Askadisha, therefore he was impressed already with the Ois and Priest Kodesh. Chamish Shchita Mizdabka Badei. And so the Shechina come together with him. Right? They're together with the Shechina. Kidein Korashmei Amad Avil Basar. So it's called Noach on what he's eventually going to do. But they already knew it's going to happen. Well, before we asked it, yesterday we asked, how do you know it's really going to happen? So therefore, Kosh Baruch Hu must give him the name. No, he knew exactly because he was born with the sign that he had this bris milah. And now the Zohar explains, Chamesa initially, whoever they the Mezer Mechza, they didn't know that they had to plant and then plow. Mezer Mechza, I think, means to Mechza means to harvest. Mechrash means to plow. So it's not really in order, right? Mezer, Mechrash, Mechza. But they just did everything by hand without any tools. Came out of Noach. Once Noach came asking him Nusalu, he made it a craft. In other words, the science of planting and plowing and harvesting properly. The whole money, the Tzuna Takana, and he made all they already had metal workers from Tuval Kainstein. He made all the necessary tools, the Takna Arlam paint to fix the world to produce the proper fruit. So it says that which it says, this will console us from our deeds and from the frustration which we had get from the land. The Iu Apik Arwin Madi Sataya took land out of state of being cursed. That was our Chat Chitin because they didn't know about plowing. They would plant wheat, Bakatzin Guvin, Bedadrin, and harvest thorns and thistles. B'Yinikaksiv Ish Hadama. Let's say Noach was called Ish Hadama because he was a person who was able to, although that says after the Mabul, but still he was Ish Hadama, was able to fix the land. Okay, once I had Ish Hadama, we'll see a little bit more about that, but that will be ready for tomorrow.